I'd like to raise a couple of questions and see how you respond.
Sure, fire away.
Regarding this theory. Number one, how do you explain the switch from asexual reproduction to sexual reproduction?
Well, first off, let me say that in no way challenges the validity of biological evolution, whether we're able or unable to explain the fact that many species, by no means all, reproduce sexually today. The Darwinian concept of evolution and natural selection is profoundly verified, not just by the fossil record.
Well, where are fossils in transition?
Excuse me. Not just by the clear experience of artificial selection, but by the record in the nucleic acids, which is obtained by DNA sequencing, in which we can see the similarities and differences of organisms and trace their evolutionary past,
in other words, you've got this
history.
Theory with a gaping hole in it.
There's no gaping.
It doesn't cause you to question the theory.
There's no gaping holes. You're talking about the absence of intermediate forms in the fossil record.
That was one problem.
The fossil record. Well, let's talk about each thing that you have problems with, if there's time. Well, just a minute. You raise one, and then when I'm about to answer it, you rush off to the next. Let's do them one at a time. The fossil record is necessarily incomplete because of the processes of erosion, but particularly, it seems to me...
And all the fossils in transition got picked off.
Sir, nobody said all the fossils. You're going to lots of intermediate forms.
You're going to have to put aside your creationist primer for a moment and either listen to the answers that you raised. Well, sir, I will thank you for the call, but I think it would be unproductive to continue because our caller, I fear, is too ready to do battle rather than to listen. He rather reminds me of Pontius Pilate. He asks what is truth, but does not stay for the answer.
Let me at least respond to one of the caller's concerns. Consider artificial selection. I mean, there is something intrinsically implausible about evolution, particularly if you think that the world is only a few thousand years old, as the biblical chronology would have it. Then the idea of one species flowing into another is absurd. We never see that in our everyday life, we are told. But consider artificial selection. Consider, for example, the variety of dogs on the planet. We have dogs ranging from Chihuahuas to Great Danes. We have dogs specialized for herding sheep, for going into holes, for catching birds that are shot down, for taking care of the babies, for guarding the house. Tremendous variety of dogs on the planet.
And in fact, they are man-made dogs in a way.
Exactly. Where did they come from? We, humans, made them by controlling which dog shall mate with which. We like the characteristics of Rover. We like the characteristics of Spot. We now introduce Rover and Spot to each other so that we can have the products of their progeny. Other dogs with characteristics we don't like, who are unpleasant to us, we do not encourage their reproduction of. And in the short period of 8,000 or 10,000 years, we produce this immense variety of dogs. Now, compare that with 4 billion years of biological evolution, not artificial selection, but natural selection, which goes into not just the overall characteristics and personalities of the dogs, but into the biochemistry, into the internal organs, selecting what works a little bit better, just the faintest bit, in the competition of organisms. And then it is clear that the beauty and diversity of life on Earth can emerge. But if you don't buy 4 billion years, you don't buy evolution.